Hey, this will be a book review of Corrosion, book one of the Corroding Empire by the mysterious and no doubt very sexy Johan Kalsi. Uh, there was a lot of controversy around this book, and this publication of Corrosion is probably one of the great own the libs moments of 2017, and it was the death blow in the Fox Day versus John Scalzi feud. But the question remains: is the actual book worth reading? Well, in my opinion, yes, maybe, and no. Start with the yes. The book starts. Let's start. The core premise here is that this technological society, which is completely dependent on automation, there's a flaw in their logarithm. A logarithm. You guys know what word I'm trying to say here. Like yeah, whatever. Anyway, the central codes generate that basically run their entire society. This teeny tiny little flaw in it, and well, in the opening chapters, the scientist in charge of developing the system realized the flaw is not that the flaw is so small that it's almost impossible to notice. The problem is the flaw itself exists in what should be a perfect system. So anyway, the chief scientist kind of basically gets bribed into shutting up, and then we move on to the next I guess it would be a century or so later, and we have the main character, which is a sentient robot or AI, and he contacts the head of the technocracy and informs him that there is a problem. And eventually, the techno chief technocrat finally looks into the issue, realizes that there is an issue, um, dodges an assassination attempt, which is probably one of the highlight of the book, and then gets arrested by the rest of the technocracy and put on trial. And from there, the book goes into like a series of short vignettes or loosely connected chapters that are again down the centuries. And well, opening part of this opening part of the book is again I think it's probably the best part of the book because the author is very very carefully imitating Isaac Asimov's writing style, the smugness, the so the men in lab coats saying after about in the middle, you start to see the writing style shift a little. I'm thinking Harry Harrison of the To the Stars and Stainless Steel Rat. I mean, it's still good writing, but the shift is noticeable. That moves into a chapter where there's a farmer and all his equipment is breaking down. He's starving. He finds this mutant weed that has been plaguing him for years, but it's highly poisonous. So he goes and eats it. He's in a suicide attempt. And it turns out that the weed has mutated again and is now a tasty vegetable. So then we get another section. We got like a zombie section where just little chapters highlighting the decay of society and the collapse of interstellar trade and the all the results. This is all done very tongue in cheek, very mean and sarcastically at points, but this is big. This is big idea science fiction, and it's done very well. There was one chapter had conscripted soldiers, which are hardwired into a virtual reality where it's like they're playing a video game. So, and from the outside, they seem completely insane to the enemy, so the enemy has no idea how what they're doing. But that was just a fairly fun chapter. There's a chapter, a robot crew of a spaceship. Not entirely sure what happened there. There may have been robot sex. I don't want to go back and look at it. So I don't know. Like just like the core premise, this book starts out perfectly and kind of decays into a spiral of insanity, absurdity, and well, in some cases, absolute body horror. The ending chapter has humans versus robots in fairly brutal combat. So, and it ends on kind of a weird note, but I don't know. As a as a as a full novel, it's really hard to wrap your head around it. Just like that psychological roller coaster that crashes at the end. So anyway, I give this book a 3 out of 5, just on its own merits. Uh, again, the controversy around this book just makes it a whole lot sweeter. But having an actual book that is above average is fairly big idea science fiction. And again, the opening chapters absolutely spoof Asimov perfectly. So again, this is kind of going to be use your judgment on this one. You also one more thing. Because this has been taken off Amazon, this is exclusive to the Arkhaven store. So anyway, Wolfman out. Keep on rocking in what's left of the free world, I guess, until the Allegro decay kicks in. So anyway, the asphalt.